Hello, everyone. Today, I thought we would discuss something that some people have been concerned about. So, that is in light of the supposed worldwide pandemic that's going around, how am I shipping my art? So, I just thought I would address that. Now, what I am doing is the same thing I've always done. And so I hope that you don't think this is clickbait. If you have a lot of important things to do, go ahead and talk to you later. But if you have some time to waste, go ahead and you're welcome to stay around while I chat. So what I'm doing is I'll tell you how I ship my art. If you haven't purchased art from me before, I usually ship originals wrapped in glassine, which is an archival it's kind of feels like wax paper, but it is acid free, so it protects the art. And then, but that's not completely waterproof. I used to use, I was trying to use all biodegradable, compostable, even recyclable material. And I used to use this craft paper bubble wrap, but besides the price of it, it actually, I don't feel like it protected the art as well as bubble wrap. So I went back to bubble wrap. And you can find green bubble wrap. Like I actually just purchased a bag of potatoes, and the plastic bag it was made in wasn't really plastic. It was actually made out of potatoes. The bag was made out of potatoes. So they're doing all kinds of crazy things now. But I think my bubble wrap's still plastic. I'm getting it from Uline, which is a shipping supplier in the United States and Canada. So yeah, so the only thing I can do extra right off the top of my head, and I've had people ask for this, is I have a large clear plastic bags. I think I get them from Uline too, and I have them in different sizes. So I could put it in a bag to completely cover it, to give it like an extra barrier if someone requests that. But I don't usually do that because oil paints, I feel like they need to breathe a little bit. So I like to not have too many uh, layers of plastic. But if I've had people request that, maybe they've had a lot of rain in their area and they've asked me to actually make sure that it's completely waterproof. So I'm happy to do that for someone. I've had people ask me to hold packages. Um, Personally, my hope and prayer is that everybody is safe and healthy, and that we all have a great year. So, um, and I just encourage everybody to stay positive and grateful for all that we have, and especially for our health. I mean, it's definitely important. This is just a table from one of my bedrooms, and I just got this chocolate bar today at the shopping mall. And this book is inspiring me with all the folk art that was done in gouache paint. And uh, I'm just having fun with all the art projects I'm doing this spring. And I'm looking forward to, uh, yeah, March is going to have a lot of new projects that I'm excited to share with you. Also, my book's coming out on March 3rd. So, if anyone does buy from me and want to have like I've had packages held by the post office before. I mean, I can't like do crazy requests, but just simple things like could you put it in an extra bag, or extra padding or extra tape, things like that. I'm happy to do all those things. I try to always um, put extra packaging and reinforcement and always ship in boxes. Not, I don't ship anything in envelopes. So that should help. I know also they're unmarked boxes. They do have my address, but I know, I mean, a lot of when I first started selling on Etsy, if you insured a package, the post office would actually label the package insured on the label. And I know why they got stopped that, because I mean, if you're insuring a package, it's more likely to be valuable, right? So it's more likely to get stolen. And that's why luxury goods, I mean, I don't buy that many luxury goods, but you don't see a box with Rolex on the side of it because I mean, it's going to be unmarked. So mine are also just plain brown boxes. And personally, it's just me or family members that would ship my packages. And first of all, I'm rarely ever under the weather. The last time was over a year ago, and I had a pre-existing issue in that I hadn't had hardly any sleep for 2 weeks straight. I had been traveling a lot for work and had 2 weekends with only like 1 hour of sleep all weekend. Both weekends I like had 2 days with no sleep, and they were due to flight delays, like overnight layovers, where the plane was delayed by more than 8 hours, due to weather and all kinds of crazy things. And and then one was actually my daughter's graduation in Boston, and we stayed up all night. So that was just crazy. That wasn't weather related. That was just fun. So, but then I ended up after that I had deadline for my book. After that, all night, um, 2 days of not sleeping, and then I had to work all day, finishing a deadline for this book. That was last May. And then I left for Yellowstone, and we went camping, and it was raining. And at night, the rain turned into snow, and my sleeping bag was touching the side of the tent. So that means it leaked, and my soaking bag was sopping wet, and I had a fever, and pretty much had a fever for an entire week while I was at Yellowstone. And to honestly, I usually just tough out fevers. I don't mind them. I was happy and having fun the whole time. I was just a little under the weather, but I knew my body was able to kick it. But that's the last time I was sick. And if I always use good hygiene and um, soap and water and hand sanitizer, and we're very very clean here. So that's not usually a problem. Honestly, my biggest problem is my freaking hair, and I'm thinking of starting to wear not a hair net, but at least a scarf when I'm shipping things, because my hair just, I'm always for some reason finding some hairs around my long hair, and it's embarrassing to say that, but that is kind of nasty too. So I just, that's only happened a couple times where I found a hair in the art studio, like a long one, but it freaks me out, and I'd be terrified if someone found a hair in their package. And I know it's not food, but it doesn't matter. It's just gross. So that's something I've thought about, is maybe I should have my hair in a little cute scarf, or um, while I'm packing things, just because my crazy hair. Yeah, so I think that's it for, I'm trying to think if there's anything else about concerns with packages. And yeah, I think, I mean, obviously, once it leaves my hands and it's in like FedEx or the post office or DHL overseas, I mean, I don't control what happens to it. So I try to just keep it really contained inside. But I mean, if there's something on it that you think, you know, you're concerned about, then I've heard people talk about this recently with all the viruses that people are worried about, and about bleaching things. Some people are even going to the extreme of let's leave it for 24 days. So I honestly think this is overkill. I don't, but whatever you want to do, whatever you feel comfortable with. Um, I'm I've never had now someone in my family actually has a business that they ship blood products, and it's a medical business and pharmaceutical business. So like it's very expensive because it has to be insured, and I mean they're literally shipping like um, bio stuff, um, blood, plasma, stuff like that. And it's usually shipped frozen, but I mean, it could melt or things like that. And so, I mean, but if something like that dripped on someone else's package, so that's why I do try to really wrap things well enough, but not like I said, I don't want, I want it to still breathe and not, um, especially because the paintings are still trying to dry, so I just don't want it to like have any kind of sweating problems, or I try to make sure they're obviously very dry. The oil paintings, I've been shipping a lot of them. If it hasn't been cured for at least 6 months, I'm trying to ship them with nothing touching the surface of the painting, so I will just kind of build a cradle for it. Excuse me. It takes a lot of extra packaging, but it definitely helps because even if I thought a painting was dry, um, because the oil paints especially, they don't evaporate, it's oxidating. So oxidation, I guess I should say. Sorry, it's like almost midnight here and I'm turning into a pumpkin. So uh, the paints, even if they are dry on the surface, I mean, like if you dig your fingernail in, it could probably leave a mark. Or what happens is the surface is dry in those really thick areas, and then it's literally like a water balloon. Like I've had people, like if you smash it, it can burst, like the surface bursts and all this wet paint can like ooze out. It's very disheartening and shocking sometimes when I've had that happen. And by especially early on, trying to ship things too early and wrap them, and maybe with like different weather with humidity or heat, that could make um, early on I would have some people where it would stick to the surface of the painting and like peel the paint off. So that's why I try not to have anything touching the surface of the definitely oil paintings if they are less than 6 months off the easel. And acrylics, it's not really a problem so much. I usually like to give them a week and then I varnish them, and then it can still be tacky for a few more days. And then it's especially with that, it's just the toxic fumes of the varnish is kind of nasty. So I like to get that done before, at least a week before shipping, because just to get rid of some of the odors too, because that's kind of not pleasant, to say the least. So yeah, I think that's it. If you have any questions or comments, I'd love to hear from you.